Hello, I'm Nicola Fleming. I'm Conservation Manager here at the National Archives.
Hi, I'm Stephen Trigg. I'm Head of Modern Collections.
We're here in the studio today with a collection of artworks by Terence Cuneo. They are all part of a series called IMP3, which is a collection of nearly 2,000 original artworks that were commissioned by the Ministry of Information during the Second World War for propaganda purposes. We have out some of the artworks here by Cuneo, but the collection actually holds 42 original artworks by this artist. 8 of them are oil paintings and the rest are drawings, mainly charcoal drawings, but there are some pen and ink and a few other different drawing media also.
The collection is part of the Ministry of Information collection, and this was established during the Second World War to bolster British propaganda purposes. To do this, it employed artists, filmmakers, novelists. Its headquarters were in Senate House in central London, which was later described as the Ministry of Truth in George Orwell's 1984. But we've got a wonderful collection here of some of the output of the Ministry of Information, and they would have been used for illustrating posters, publications, and sometimes in cinemas and in railways. So throughout the Second World War, they would have been quite a major aspect of the sort of British cultural scene.
The Collection Care Department here at the Archives carried out a project in 2009, 2010 to conserve the entire and rehouse the entire IMP3 series. So in addition to rehousing all of the artworks into standard size mounts, we also treated any that were damaged, and we carried out some technical analysis of some of the collection to determine the materials that were being used by the artists and the processes they were using. A lot of the artworks we have by Terence Cuneo are these monochromatic, quite dramatic images that have been drawn quite quickly and quite loosely using charcoal, and they're often heightened with white gouache for the highlights. And whilst this created quite a quick and very powerful image, they have some problems with long-term stability. The charcoal is quite a friable, powdery media, and it doesn't have a binder present. And when you use that and then apply a thick paint layer over the top, there's nothing really for the paint layer to grip onto. And so throughout the collection, we saw there was consistently problems with cracking and flaking paint layers. And so part of the conservation of this series looked into consolidating, re-adhering some of the loose media that was present.
And some of the paintings have obviously directions to presumably it's the printer, is it?
Yes, as these were generally made for print, quite often you'll see that they have these adhesive staining marks around the edges where a mount would have been placed either by the artist or more often by the printer. A lot of the notes and the annotations you see would be from the printers or from the studios, the graphic studios where the artworks sometimes were created, and they would let them know if they were going to be in colour, it would give colour guidelines, but generally these were black and white, so it was more to do with size and where the text would be placed for the posters or for the leaflets.
Well, a lot of them are actually on titles. We only tend to find out what the title of the painting was when we actually find its inclusion in a publication. These are two colour paintings. This is Dover on the left here, for the defence of Britain during the possible invasion from Nazi Germany. And we have this painting here, which I think is from the Far East. You can, I think that's a Japanese fighter plane there. We also have a number of the paintings were intended for cartoons, possibly in comics. So it's a very interesting graphic here, which can be used for publications, and we have a publication over here to demonstrate what the finished article would have looked like. This is a tank factory, so the original would have been a large painting as you've just seen, but by the time it gets into the publication it's obviously reduced, and you get the explanation underneath explaining what the actual image describes, and in this case it's the high-speed production of the formidable 12-ton tank. And for those who wish to know any more, there's a small description underneath here. For those of you who would be interested in seeing these works, as you look around, there are a lot of them. They are open to the public here at Kew, so please feel free to come down and look at them. For those of you who can't make it to Kew, some of these images are available on our image library, so please check out our website.